Hello and welcome to this answer explanation video. In this video I'm going to go over the answers to the Year 5 Subtract 2 Mixed Numbers problem. I'll model one way how to solve the problem, but there are multiple ways in which this problem can be solved and hopefully cover some of the things that you may have found a little bit tricky. Blake and Pamela are taking part in their school's reading challenge. Use the clues to work out how many whole books and what fraction of their current book each child has read. How much more does Pamela have to read to catch up with Blake? Blake says the fraction I have read has an odd denominator but an even numerator. I have read an odd number of whole books. I have read more than Pamela. Pamela says the fraction I have read has a denominator which is a square number and a numerator which is prime. I have read one less whole book than Blake. So what we need to do is create some mixed numbers for Blake and Pamela that fit their criteria, and then subtract Pamela's number from Blake's number to work out the difference between the two and how much more Pamela needs to read in order to catch up with Blake. So looking at the question, we know that Blake has an odd denominator in his fraction, an even numerator, and an odd whole number that is greater than Pamela's. Pamela has one less whole number than Blake. She has a prime numerator and a square number for her denominator. So let's come up with two mixed numbers that fit these criteria. Blake's is probably going to be a little bit easier. So an odd whole number, I'm going to go for 3. And then even number, I'm going to go for 2 for the numerator and 3 again for the denominator. So I'm going to say Blake has read 3 books and 2/3 of his current book. So if Pamela has read one less book than Blake, one less whole book, she's going to have read 2. Prime number, I'm going to choose 3. And then for a square number, I'm going to go for 2 times 2 is 4. So Pamela has read 2 whole books and 3/4 of her current book. So now we need to find the difference between 2 and 3/4 and 3 and 2/3. And that will tell us how much more Pamela needs to read in order to catch up with Blake. So if you notice, the fractions have 2 different denominators, so we need to convert them so that they have the same. Remember, when we're subtracting two mixed numbers, there's lots of different ways that we can make the fractions work for us. You can convert them into improper fractions, you can partition them and have the whole numbers subtracted first and then subtract the fractions, or you can use a little bit of flexible partitioning and partition this into a whole number and an improper fraction, so we could make it 2 and 5/3. I'm going to make them improper fractions because that's how I find it easiest, but it doesn't really matter which way you choose as long as you get the correct answer. So I'm going to make 3 and 2/3 into an improper fraction, so that would be 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. And 2 and 3/4 would be 2 times 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. 11/4. So now my calculation is 11/3 subtract 11/4. But remember, when you do subtracting or addition with fractions, the denominator needs to be the same. So I know that my lowest common denominator is going to be 12, because we can do 3 times 4 is 12 and 4 times 3 is 12. So to make this into 12, I'm going to times it by 4. So that means I times that by 4, gives me 44/12, and I times this by 3, and I times this by 3 to give me 12. So now my calculation is 44/12 subtract 33/12. 44 subtract 33 is 11/12. So Pam needs to read 11/12 of her book in order to have read the same amount as Blake. There are multiple answers to this question, even more so than what is on the answer sheet. So have a really good play around with these numbers and see what ones you can come up with. That was an answer explanation video from Classroom Secrets on subtract 2 mixed numbers. If you would like to watch the video tutorial that accompanies this step, please visit kids.classroomsecrets.co.uk. And if you would like more resources that meet this step, please visit our sister website classroomsecrets.co.uk. Thank you for watching.